Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm 34, and last Saturday night, I stood up at my father's birthday dinner and said a single sentence that cracked my entire family dynamic in half. I didn't shout. I didn't slam the table. I just stood up and said, "Could we split checks by household?" And from that moment on, everything changed. But let me back up. I'm the older kid. The responsible one. I sell insurance, drive a compact SUV, and have a credit score my dad likes to brag about when he wants me to co-sign things. I'm divorced, share custody of my 2 kids, Evan, 9, and Sophie, 6, and live in the kind of structured, spreadsheet life that people like my sister Jenna love to call boring. Jenna's 2 years younger, louder, flashier, and somehow always in a better apartment despite bouncing between jobs. Our parents, Carl and Marie, treat her like a minor miracle if she remembers to floss. Me? If I forget to reply to a group text, I'm being cold. It's not favoritism, they'd say. Just different expectations. Dad would say, "You know your sister's not good with details," while tossing me the bill. Mom would hand me her phone with a, "Maddie, you're so organized, you don't mind, do you?" I did mind. I always did. But I swallowed it. I've always been the fixer. The one who pays the late fees, arranges the movers, picks up my dad from wherever he's stranded, and fronts the money. Just until Friday. Every crisis becomes my calendar event. Here's a dumb little memory that sticks. I was 12, Jenna was 10. She won a goldfish at a school fair, dropped it on the way home. I spent my allowance replacing it with a bowl and food. That night, Dad patted my shoulder and said I was a good brother. The next morning, the fish was floating, because Jenna had left it too close to the vent. And Mom sighed at me. That was the pattern. Jenna messes up? Someone else should have planned better. I learned to live around it. But last Saturday, something snapped. It was Dad's 61st birthday. We went to one of those white tablecloth restaurants where the menu has no prices, just adjectives. Jenna had been dropping hints about this place for weeks. "Perfect for photos," she said. We booked a big corner table. Me, my kids, my ex-wife Erin, were civil, my parents, Jenna, and her husband Chuck. The place smelled like butter and wine. Fancy. My daughter leaned in, asked if she could get the pasta with the twirls. "Pappardelle," I said. "We'll see, kiddo." Jenna waved the waiter over like she owned the place. "2 truffle pastas, extra mushrooms, and lemon cake to go," she said, tapping her nails on the phone case I bought her last Christmas. The one she said had accidentally cracked. When the food arrived, the truffle pastas were placed in front of Jenna and Chuck. The lemon cake, 2 slices boxed, landed neatly by their elbows. My kids stared. The boxes smelled amazing. Sophie whispered, "Is one for us?" Jenna laughed. "These are for my boys later." Her sons, who weren't even there. Then Dad did that thing where he tries to be funny but lands in cruelty. He flicked 2 napkins across the table toward my kids like he was dealing poker chips. "Your kids can eat when they get home," he said, grinning. "No need to fill them with overpriced noodles." Chuck chuckled and added, "Next time, feed them first, brother." I felt the heat behind my eyes. I just said, "Got it." But when the waiter returned to ask if we needed anything else, I stood up. My chair scraped against the floor. Everyone looked at me. I looked at the waiter and said calmly, "Could we split checks by household?" Silence. Not the confused kind. The "how dare you" kind. Jenna blinked. "What?" Dad laughed, assuming I was joking. "Sit down, bud. You know how this works. You put your card down. We'll Venmo later." "No," I said. "We're going to split it now." Chuck gave me that grin, like I was the one embarrassing them. "Dude, don't be tacky." Erin didn't say a word. She just reached across the table and squeezed Sophie's hand. The waiter glanced between us like he'd seen this scene before. "Of course. I can itemize." Dad leaned back, arms folded. "Since when?" "Since tonight," I said. Mom's smile tightened. "Matthew, don't make a scene on your father's birthday." "I'm not making a scene," I said. "I'm making a choice." Jenna looked at the boxes like she just remembered they existed. "Are you serious?" "These are for the boys." I caught that. I said. They're hungry, she insisted. They're not here, I said. My voice was steady. Too steady. I hated how natural it felt, like I'd practiced it in the mirror. Maybe I had, in other words, for years. Dad tapped his fingers on the table. Don't punish your sister for being prepared. Prepared? I said. She boxed up $72 of pasta while my kids were told to eat at home. That was a joke. Mom said quick. Too quick. Sophie looked up at me. Evan stared at his water like it could teleport him away from the table. The waiter cleared his throat. I can take cards now and work on the split, he said softly. Jenna shoved the checkbook toward me. Just do it and send requests. You're better at that stuff. I didn't touch it. No. The word wasn't loud. It was heavy. Final. The kind of no that doesn't need an explanation. Dad leaned in, voice low. You're embarrassing your family. I leaned in too. My family is these two, I said, nodding at Evan and Sophie. And they're not an embarrassment. Chuck snorted. Drama. Aaron, silent all evening, finally said one word. Stop. Chuck shrugged. Just saying. I turned to the waiter. Can you also add 2 kids' pastas to our side? Plain butter. No truffle anything. Absolutely. He nodded. Dad laid his palm on the table, not loud, but like he was reasserting dominance. You don't tell us how to spend our money. I'm not, I said. I'm telling you how I'm going to spend mine. Mom went soft again. Matthew, honey, be reasonable. I am reasonable, I said. Reasonable is not paying for everyone and being told my kids can eat later. Jenna rolled her eyes. Oh my God, it's pasta. It's respect, I said. The waiter hovered. Should I come back? 1 minute, I said. Then I turned to face them all. My voice was calm. Deadly calm. I'll keep it simple so there's no confusion. Dad opened his mouth. I held up a hand. He closed it. That never happens. That's how I knew I'd already left something behind. I didn't plan to blow up my family's dinner. But in that moment, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Done. Not angry. Not outraged. Just finished. I've covered a lot of checks, I told them. I co-signed a credit card I'm still getting statements for. I paid your overdue property tax last winter, Mom, because you called me crying. I covered Jenna's toe. I put down deposits. I get it. I make decent money. I'm an insurance agent, not a charity. I'm not your emergency fund. No one said you were. Mom snapped like it was reflex. You didn't have to, I said. You just acted like it. Jenna folded her arms. So tonight you want a medal for ordering noodles? I want a boundary, I said. And I'm drawing it right now in public because in private you pretend not to hear me. Dad's cheek twitched. This isn't about noodles, he said. You're right, I replied. Chuck let out one of those half-laughs people do when they think they're clever. Closure. Did someone die? A version of me did, I said. Aaron squeezed Sophie's hand under the table. Evan looked at me, really looked at me, with a mix of fear and relief, like maybe this was the day I stopped being a bystander to my own life. The waiter returned quietly with the leather checkbooks. I signed mine. $74. 58 with tip. For me and the kids. Reasonable for a fancy place. Dad didn't reach for his. He slid the bill toward me with one finger. Last chance? No, I said. I stood, helped Sophie with her jacket. Evan fumbled for his hat. Aaron stood too. We'd driven separately, but she hovered behind us like a soft shield. You're walking out on your father's birthday, Mom said. I'm walking out with my children, I said. We'll call tomorrow to say happy birthday. You'll regret this, Dad said. I used to think that, I said. Turns out, I regret all the times I didn't do it sooner. I put a hand on Evan's shoulder, a hand on Sophie's back, and we walked out. The door whooshed behind us. The night air was sharp. Cold, but not bitter. Just honest. It felt like someone had opened a window in a stale room. In the car, Sophie swung her legs. Are we in trouble? No, I said, buckling her in. We're in a news story. News stories don't start clean. They start with noise. Sunday morning, my phone lit up like a siren. 32 texts, 18 missed calls, 11 voicemails. The family group chat had gone from dinner at 6 to Matthew? To how could you? In under 12 hours. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I made pancakes. Evan measured flour with the seriousness of a bomb technician. Sophie whisked. We ate in our pajamas. The house felt different. Not quieter, not yet. But more ours. At 10:17 a.m., Mom called again. I picked up. Matthew, she said, skipping hello. Your father didn't sleep last night. I did, I said. You humiliated him. I split a check. You made a scene. I set a boundary. She inhaled, that long practiced sigh like she was preparing to say something devastating. You've always loved making everything about you. I looked at the Lego on the floor. At the science kit on the counter. Last night wasn't about me. It was about my kids. They weren't hungry. They were told to wait while other kids got boxes. I said. By their grandfather. On purpose. That was a joke. Not for them. She changed tactics, her voice turning sugary. You know your sister struggles. She's trying. Chuck's job is unstable. So is everyone's. I said. I'm not their employer. Family helps family. She said. Family respects family. I said. Silence. Then. Your father wants you to apologize. I won't. He wants his Costco card back. I almost laughed. You mean the one I got for him under my account? Because his bounced for non-payment? Another pause. I'd surprised her. Sure, I said. I'll cancel it this afternoon. You don't need to be vindictive. I'm not. I'm being consistent. She shifted tones again, as if flipping through emotional channels. We miss you, baby. You miss my wallet, I said. The words came out sharp before I could file them down. She hung up. At noon, Dad texted. You embarrassed your mother. Be a man and take responsibility. Don't come by until you can behave. Bring the pressure washer when you can. The siding is green. I stared at the thread. No response. Erin sent me a message. You okay? We're fine, I replied. She wrote back. Kids felt protected. Proud of you. I didn't reply. I just stared at the message. Let it sit. Jenna, of course, found her megaphone by evening. She posted a photo of Dad's untouched dessert with the caption, Nothing like birthday drama from people who make everything a crisis. Her friends commented, Ugh, stay strong. Family is hard. People are so ungrateful. I didn't engage. I've learned arguing on the internet is like screaming into a blender. All it does is chop your dignity into confetti. Monday, Jenna texted, You made Mom cry. Chuck said you were aggressive to the waiter. Dad is reconsidering helping with my boys. Can you send $150? School pictures, they sprung it on me. I typed and erased 100 responses. I sent one word. No. She replied instantly. Wow. So that's how it's gonna be? I replied. Yes. Tuesday afternoon, Dad called while I was with a client. I let it go to voicemail. Listened later in the car. You owe me respect, he said. You'll apologize to your mother. Admit you overreacted. Put the family first again. Then, quieter, like he forgot he was being recorded. He's not like us. I deleted the voicemail. I didn't want to memorize it. Small, petty things started happening. The Netflix I pay for signed out at my parents' house. The Costco card flagged a failed transaction. Someone tried to reset my Amazon password at 3:07 a.m. My Ring camera caught Dad stepping onto my porch. Then stepping back without knocking. I watched the clip and felt nothing I expected to feel. Not fear. Not anger. Just a long, clean line. Enough. Wednesday, the extended family started chiming in like it was some kind of Judgment Day potluck. Aunt Trish texted, I always thought you were a good boy. Uncle Marco called and ranted for 20 minutes about how I had No old school values. Cousin Lily, bless her, sent a single message. Proud of you. Been there. I screenshotted that one and saved it. That afternoon, I sat at my kitchen table with tabs open for banks, subscriptions, and shared accounts. A cup of coffee went cold twice. I was performing a ritual I should have done years ago: boundary maintenance. Cancelled the Costco sub cards. Removed Dad's old credit card from my Apple Wallet. Why was it even there? Changed the password on my Amazon. Froze the emergency joint account Dad insisted on 5 years ago because we're a team. That account had $31 in it. He'd withdrawn every emergency as cash. Erin came by to pick up the kids. She looked at the list on my laptop and raised an eyebrow. You need help? I got it, I said. She tilted her head. You always say that. I looked up at her. I mean it this time. She studied my face, then nodded. Okay. Thursday night, my phone buzzed with a new number. Mr. Hale. A man's voice said gravelly. This is Dale from Midtown Towing. We've got a Honda Civic registered to a Jennifer Hale. She says you're the secondary on the card? There it was. The old life, knocking. I'm not, I said. Release it or don't. I won't be paying. Pause. Understood, he said. She's yelling at my guys. I'll figure it out. I'm sorry, I said. And I meant it. 2 words I hadn't said to myself in years. Friday, 10:11 a.m. Dad sent a group text to me and Jenna. Family meeting. Sunday. Noon. No excuses? I stared at it for a long time and typed. No. He replied fast. You don't say no to your father. I replied. I just did. No reply. Saturday, we did something small and huge. I took the kids to the park with sandwiches and apples. No errands. No schedule. Evan tried the monkey bars. Sophie tripped and laughed so hard she snorted. We stayed until long shadows stretched across the grass. I didn't look at my phone once. I didn't feel anxious. I didn't feel summoned. And the sky didn't fall. Sunday morning, a call I didn't expect. Grandma Joan. 84. Seen every family meltdown in 3 generations. You made your granddad do this once, she said. Told his brothers they couldn't keep borrowing his tools. They called him selfish. He slept better after. I laughed. You always liked me better. I always saw you clearer, she said. Eat, sleep, keep going. I promised we'd bring the kids for cookies. We did. She told us which cousins still owe her money. It was weirdly healing to hear debts spoken out loud, like debts could just be acknowledged. Stories pay better, she said. You don't owe me anything. By Monday, the tone shifted from rage to negotiation. Mom texted. We can talk. If you apologize. Jenna wrote. Fine. I don't need you. But can you send $60? The school picture add-on. I didn't respond. Tuesday, 11:43 p.m. The doorbell rang. Twice. The Ring camera lit up. Dad? Red cheeks, jaw set like granite. He rang again. Pounded once. Then he looked right into the lens. You want to be alone? He said to the porch. Fine. Be alone. He turned and walked away. The porch light clicked off on its timer. The silence that followed felt earned. Not like victory. Just like a real, unshakable beginning. I slept harder than I had in months. I dreamed of a quiet room where no one needed my wallet. Where no one flicked napkins at my kids and called it love. In the morning I made coffee. I didn't check my phone first. And when I finally did, the messages were there. Of course they were. But they felt smaller now. Easier to ignore. Like static in a song I already knew the words to. They didn't stop. But they lost their weight. Every no was a brick in a wall that used to be a revolving door. Every no taught my kids something I should have taught them earlier. We don't buy love. We build it. By the second week, the house even sounded different. It echoed less. Maybe that was just me. Maybe that was my own voice returning. Evan asked me carefully. Are we still going to Grandpa's on Sundays? Not for a little while, I said. He nodded like he'd already guessed. Sophie asked, "Do they hate us?" "No," I said. "They're just learning our rules." She looked up. "What are our rules?" I said them out loud to hear how they sounded. "We eat when we're hungry. We say please and thank you. We don't make people small to feel big. And we don't box up cake for people who aren't at the table while telling the people at the table to wait." She grinned. "So we buy cake for us?" "Sometimes," I said. "Yeah. We do. Closure doesn't always come as fireworks or shouting matches. Sometimes, it looks like Sunday morning pancakes and a phone that stays silent. I didn't write a manifesto. I didn't stage a holiday intervention. I just stopped showing up for people who believed they owned my yes. I kept showing up for the two people who never abused it. My kids. Dad's last voicemail came on a Wednesday night. "You think you're better than us? You'll come back when you remember who raised you." I didn't save it. I didn't reply. "Not better, just done." Mom tried more softness. "Your father misses you. You used to fix things." "I know," I said. "That was the problem." Jenna kept texting like she always had, urgent, dramatic, manipulative. "I'm drowning. You're heartless. Can you at least answer?" I replied the same every time. No. No lectures. No receipts. Just short, complete sentences that saved me from slipping back into the man who handed out help like band-aids for bullet holes. It didn't harden me. It cleared space for where my softness actually belongs, at my dinner table, in my daughter's laugh, in my son's "Thanks, Dad," when I show up just for him. Work got easier. My breathing got deeper. Even strangers felt easier to help, because I wasn't carrying 4 other adults on my back. One night Evan asked, "Did Grandpa always make you pay for everything?" I didn't answer right away. I just thought about every Venmo request, every "You don't mind, do you?" Every time I was handed a bill, as if being responsible was the same thing as being obligated. He made me feel like I should. I said finally, "I don't want to feel like that." He said, "You won't." I told him. "Not from me." Sophie drew a picture the next night. It was of 2 tables, one with the cake boxes on one side, and us on the other side, smiling. In the middle, a big N.O. in red crayon. She taped it to the fridge under the dentist appointment reminder. Both mattered. Closure doesn't look like what TV sells you. It looks like a calendar with space on Sundays. A budget that tells the truth. An inbox that doesn't raise your pulse. A fridge with food for the people who live there. A meal where everyone eating is actually sitting at the table. I don't hate them. I'm not out for revenge. I just finally realized I'm not a bank. Not a cosigner. Not a pressure washer delivery boy. I'm a father. I'm a man who won't let anyone flick napkins at his kids and call it a joke. So here it is, plain. I won't pay for respect I don't get. I won't let love be a tab I'm always expected to pick up. I won't turn my reliability into a leash. I won't explain, no, to people who only love me when it's yes. Instead, I'm building something quiet. Something real. Something mine. Pancakes on Sunday. Homework on Tuesday. Soccer on Thursday. Granola bars in the glove compartment for overpriced dinners we skip. Thanks, Dad. I got it. The 2 best phrases in the world. Family isn't never saying no. It's saying no, so you can finally say yes to the right things. So if you're ever at a dinner table where everyone gets cake except the people sitting right in front of you, don't wait. Don't swallow it. Don't pretend it was a joke. Stand up. Ask for the check. Split it with calm. And walk out into the cold air like it's the first time you've ever breathed. Because maybe it is. Scene. Closure. Click.